Geechi Gotti exposes Dizaster. Dizaster exposes Geechi Gotti. I thought we was boys. I thought we was boys, Blue. Let's talk about it.
Battle Booth is Hoffa gang on the low. He Hoffa gang on the low. I'm Battle Booth gang, so y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is.
The Battle Booth. If you look him up, y'all go subscribe to his channel.
You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Joe coming at you live and direct from the Battle Booth. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. You heard? Geechi Gotti versus Dizaster. Geechi Gotti versus Dizaster. How was this battle, you ask? It was alright. It was alright. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing crazy. It was nothing special. It went kind of sort of how I expected it to go. You know what I'm saying? There were a couple of things that were brought up in this battle, though, that I did not expect to be brought up in the battle, bro. And salute to Geechi, salute to Dizaster for doing so. You know what I'm saying? You would think, or I would think, or I thought that because they're, you know what I'm saying, boys in the West Coast and, you know, this whole West Coast thing, and that there would be some things that they wouldn't talk about, or they wouldn't try to paint a certain picture on the other person. But that didn't seem to be the case. That didn't seem to be the case in this battle. The reason I say that was because I want to start with Geechi Gotti, right? Geechi Gotti touched on a couple of things that I thought were fantastic, bro. For example, y'all remember the situation between Dizaster and Math Hoffa. Y'all remember when Math Hoffa was out in LA? Y'all remember when Dizaster battled Math Hoffa? At the end of that battle, Dizaster ended up swinging on Math Hoffa. Dizaster was like, "Oh, I'll punch you right now. I should punch you right now. I should punch you right now." You know, Dizaster's angry, you know. Hoffa's like, "Do it. Do it." Next thing you know, Dizaster throws a punch, and Aktive in them, you know what I'm saying, the group of friends that support Dizaster, you know what I'm saying, friends, we're gonna say friends that support Dizaster, also jumped in on the situation, ended up jumping in on the situation, because Hoffa ended up getting up and fighting and, you know what I'm saying, charging back. You know what I'm saying? So that ended up being a whole big situation, which from then on ended up, you know, it still to this day has remained unsolved. There's been no conclusion. There's been no resolution. There's been nothing between Math and Dizaster ever since that happened. Ever since then, Hoffa has gone back to the West Coast, you know what I'm saying? He was gonna be on the Caffeine versus he battled Geechi. He was gonna be on Caffeine again on Kings versus Queens versus Bonnie. So he's been out there. But Dizaster has yet to come over to the East Coast. So because of that whole situation, Geechi Gotti took an angle in the second round. And he was telling Dizaster and talking about how Dizaster had to work up the courage pretty much and had to convince himself and tell himself to do what he did. Also, he only did what he did because Aktive and friends, Aktive and friends were there and had Geechi and had Dizaster's back in the situation. So Geechi Gotti goes in on that entire situation, pretty much exposing the fact that Dizaster. And you know what's crazy about this, bro? Yeah, y'all know what's crazy? Some of y'all, yo, when I went to go meet Mav Hoffa, when I went to New York that one time and I went to go meet up with Mav Hoffa, we actually talked about this. Like, we actually had a very short conversation about this because I was always wondering and I was curious about what was on or what he thought about that situation. And one of the things that I remember telling Mav, bro, when we was there was, bro, Dizaster looked as if though he had to work up the courage, bro. He had to work up the courage and convince himself to do what he did. That's, yo, this is crazy that Geechi Gotti touched on that angle because that's exactly what I told Mav Hoffa I thought happened. And I thought Dizaster was thinking when he did that. Because I don't think Dizaster wanted to do that. I just think that when Hoffa said, do it, is when it was kind of like, you know, men have a lot of pride, bro. Sometimes men have a lot of pride, bro. So it's like one of those things where it's like, damn, I don't want to look soft. You know what I'm saying? In this situation on camera by somebody who is labeled and considered a bully. On top of that, I got my boys with me. So it was like a pride thing, you know what I'm saying? And he had to work. It's so crazy that Geechi Gotti touched on this angle in the second round. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was dope. I thought it was a dope because it's true. Like, it's really true. If you watch that back, you would see how that situation played out, bro. You would see that it looked like it was scripted. It looked like Dizaster was like it was scripted. Like, he throughout the battle was thinking about that the entire time and was thinking about the fact that he might want to do that, but then also knowing that Aktive and friends were in the back ready to help him. Which brings me to the second angle that Geechi Gotti used in this battle in his third round that I feel gave Geechi Gotti the battle, bro. Speaking about Aktive, in the third round, Geechi Gotti was talking to Dizaster about how he uses Aktive and friends, pretty much uses them for the street credibility, bro, for the to be connected to the gang culture, to make it seem as if though Dizaster's a tough guy, to get all these basically benefits, basically a culture vulture is what Geechi Gotti was trying to make it out to be. Putting all this out on the table, but then flipping the script and also exposing Dizaster for not even booking Aktive, bro. Not even trying to help him get big names on cards, even though he has his own battle league. Bro, Geechi Gotti, I feel like this was a very good approach. And this is what I meant by I didn't think that they would go in there and try and make each other look away. And I didn't think Geechi Gotti would go in there and like even partially defend the Mav Hoffa situation and call it out. But on top of that, the third angle, bro, that Geechi Gotti used in this battle, bro, that I was like, wow, bro, nah, Geechi, in the third round as well, where he started talking about the fact that GTX is pretty much king of the dot. Geechi Gotti was putting it out there that GTX is just king of the dot. With some cash, with some cheese. No, he said, what'd he say? Bro, what was the bar? He said it's like king of the dot. Less organic. He said it was king of the dot, just less organic. Bro, that's fire, bro. That's fire, bro. Less organic, like, bro, because organic. Basically putting out there, bro, how Dizaster and Lush One are on each other's nuts now. You know what I'm saying? And deride each other and blase blah. The fact that, bro. What he saying that third? He said the difference between me, the difference is you pop Addy. I'll pull up to your Addy and pop you. Bruh, oh my god, bro. Yo, sometimes Geechi Gotti just has a way of just saying something that's just so short, sweet, and to the point. But it's so fire. I remember this one bar, he said something like, you ever been poor, then poor again, like a refill? Whoo! I felt that, boy, because yes, Gotti, yes. You ever been poor, then poor again, like a refill? Like, yo, sometimes I feel like Geechi Gotti just doesn't even need to say too much, bro. To just get through exactly what he needs to get through. But on the opposite end in this battle, I felt like Dizaster did the opposite, bro. I feel like Dizaster did the opposite. I'm not gonna hold you. Dizaster wasn't terrible, it wasn't bad. Dizaster just has a way of like dragging out, just like dragging out, bro. Like really dragging out whatever point it is that he's trying to make. Whatever point Dizaster's trying to make, bro, you can rest assured that this man is going to drag it all the way out, bro. He's going to put as many words in between the punch as he possibly can. On top of adding that extra, you know, on top of, he adds that on top of it, which makes him get all extra sweaty and all like, put a shirt on next time, bro. Dizaster, put a shirt on, bro. Please put a shirt on, bro. The camera nowadays, the quality on these cameras are much too good for you to be sitting there not wearing a shirt. We don't want to see whatever's under your shirt. Just please put a t-shirt on next time, bro. We don't need to see all that extra stuff. But Dizaster, I feel like, on the contrary to Geechi Gotti was angling, punching, getting to the point, making jokes. Dizaster, I feel like, also has some good material. For example, he had this, in the beginning of his first round, he brought out A-Ward. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, this running joke, A-Ward beat Geechi Gotti twice and blah, blah, blah. So he brought out A-Ward, which was cool. He had this, like, setup with, like, Geechi Gotti always calling people a bitch, you know what I'm saying? But he ended up, you know, he called so many people a bitch, and he ended up losing to one, you know what I'm saying, referring to Jazz the rapper, you know what I'm saying? He used that as an ongoing theme that he lost to Jazz, which he did. Geechi Gotti, he definitely lost to Jazz, you know what I mean? And he had this other line about him smashing Geechi Gotti, Coffee, you know what I'm saying? That's the only body that he's ever caught in battle rap. That was another, you know what I'm saying, another thing that, so he has some cool things, but outside of those things that are memorable like that, Dizaster really drags whatever he's saying. You know what I'm saying? So it's really tough to like really enjoy what Dizaster is putting out there. But he did have some okay. In the second round, Dizaster had an angle that I thought was dope. I thought this was probably the only round that Dizaster would win. But then Geechi Gotti went and had the whole math Hoffa. He had to work up the courage, and he only did it because Aktive and the gang was with him and blah blah blah. He wouldn't do that. He hasn't stepped foot in the East Coast. Geechi Gotti had that whole second round for him. So I was like, nah, ain't no way I can give Dizaster the second round anymore. But that was the only round I was gonna give Dizaster, because Dizaster had an angle, bro, and it was dope. It was an angle about the fact that Dizaster and them, Geechi Gotti and them, were supposed to be starting some kind of group, or were supposed to be a part of some kind of group, or whatever the case was. You know what I'm saying? And Geechi Gotti ended up, I guess, becoming jealous and envious of what Dizaster was doing and how big Dizaster was getting and all this stuff. So then Geechi Gotti ended up, you know what I'm saying, like splitting apart and trying to end up on his own, and ended up with Papa URL, you know what I'm saying, becoming pretty much a slave to the URL and blah, blah. It was this dope angle about that, you know what I mean? But then I thought about it shortly after, and I'm like, even if that is the case, it's like, you can't expect for Geechi Gotti to stay under you. You know what I mean? Like, people have to do their own thing, bro. People have to grow. People grow apart. People do their own thing. Like, we can't expect for Geechi Gotti to stay under you. You know what I'm saying? Like, forever. You know what I mean? So then I thought about that after Dizaster's second round too, and then I was like, nah, I can't even give Dizaster that second round either, because it's like, what? So the expectation would be for Geechi Gotti to stay under you? That wouldn't make any sense, bro, as far as if you want to be in control of your own career, if you want freedom, if you want to make money, if you want to grow a bigger name, like, you have to split apart, you have to grow apart. So then that's what I thought about that second round, you know what I'm saying? But Not enough, bro. Dizaster, not enough, bro. This is exactly how I thought. This is exactly what I thought was gonna happen. I made a blog saying Dizaster was gonna get 30. Geechi 30 versus Dizaster, because Dizaster put up a tweet recently that I'm almost 100% positive was directed towards Math Hoffa. You know what I'm saying? He put up a tweet that was directed towards Math Hoffa. You know what I'm saying? So after I saw that, and after I realized that, okay, this is going to be the approach that Dizaster is going to take towards Geechi Gotti, I was like, nah, Geechi's going to win. Geechi's going to win, because he's not going to out thug and out gangster and out all this, out street and out Geechi Gotti. You're just not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny because one of the things that was mentioned in the battle was that, is that Geechi Gotti is an actual member of Aktive and Friends. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to refer to, or you know what I'm saying, and I don't want to incriminate anybody or anything. I don't want anybody to get caught up in any RICO charges or anything. So we refer to these people as you know, friends. You know what I'm saying? Geechi Gotti's actually part of Aktive and Friends, as opposed to Dizaster, who was not. You know what I'm saying? So that was another thing that I thought was pretty funny in that whole situation. Other than, I mean, at the end of the day, man, if you ask me, bro, I think this was a pretty clear victory for Geechi Gotti, bro. I ain't gonna hold none of y'all. I ain't gonna hold none of y'all up, bro. Geechi Gotti, bro, he got me when he said, you, the difference is you pop Addy, I'll pull up to your Addy and pop you. I said, oh my god, bro, nah, bro. It doesn't even, bro. Dizaster's third doesn't even matter anymore, bro. After Geechi's second and Geechi's third, bro, it didn't even matter what Dizaster was talking about no more, bro. It didn't even matter. Who cares, bro? Who cares? Let me know what y'all think, man. Let me know if y'all caught the battle. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Joe coming at you live and direct from the battle.